All right, so I have my pieces of my little cow head here. And I should have two of these. I went ahead and put one aside because I don't need it right now. You will not be putting the two pieces together for stuffing until the very end when all details are added. So you can see that I have my marker on this side. I do not want that facing me. I want it to be inside the stuffed area. So I'm going to make sure that whatever sides have my marker are facing each other. So this is going to be the front instead of the piece with the marker on it. All right. Now I'm going to check, I'm going to make the eyes. So I'm going to check in the scrap bin of fabric. I am not going to use a brand new piece of felt to cut a tiny circle out. So I'm just going to grab what I need, and I'm going to go ahead and create a circle. You may have made a template for this since you need two eyes, and if you want them to be the same, you should have a template. Remember, if you're tracing it, that the marker side will face down. So pretend I traced that, my marker side would face down. Okay, so I have one little eye there. There is some needles and some string up at the front. I would choose one color string and kind of stick to that color. So I would take one of these and keep it in your bag. You don't want it to get all tangled though. So I'm going to take the end off like that. And I'm going to go ahead and find the end of my string so that I can start to pull a piece off. Okay. Again, I don't want it all tangled, so I'm going to try to keep it from doing that. Throw those little things away. So I'm just going to take off a nice strand. I'm still keeping that together, kind of pulling it. And then I'm going to go ahead and snip it. We're going to do a double thread, so it's okay if it's kind of long because we're going to put it through so it's nice and thick as we're sewing. We're going to put this through the eye of the needle. Okay, that's the eye. I'm going to pull it through. If you're struggling with that, please try a few times before asking for help. Ask a friend for help. Please don't lick the string and then hand it to someone else. That's disgusting. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these two ends together down here, okay, at the end of the needle. I am not tying it to the eye of the needle. Okay, I'm having a double string. So the knot is actually going to go down here at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it like a balloon. So I go around my two fingers, so it makes that little loop. Push my string through and tie. So I have a knot. Now, for this stitch, I'm going to come up from behind so that the knot is at the back of my artwork. I don't want to start from the front and have that string hanging off the front. So I'm placing where I want my eye. I'm going to come up through the back. And then I'm going to go down through the orange here. And then I'm just going to try to evenly space it out and keep those stitches relatively similar, meaning kind of the same size. And I'm going to start sewing around the edge of the eye to hold it on there. If you wanted, you could also do this stitch, which is coming up through the back and then staying on the white. If you don't want the stitch to go off onto the orange like that, you can also do this. You should not be doing both on one object like I'm showing you here. You should choose one and stick to it as you work your way around. You also don't want to have like hugely different size stitches or really far apart. So go slow and be aware and mindful of how big the stitch is. Okay, take your time. So I'm going to work my way all the way around the eye. When I am ready, or if I'm running out of string, or if I'm ready to be done with this portion, so pretend I stitched all the way around. If I was running out of string, I'd want to stop a little early. Probably nothing shorter than this, maybe even a little longer. So if this string was almost out, I need to leave myself a couple inches to tie off. How I'm going to tie off. If I make it all the way around, I can just tie it to this guy. If I don't, this would be what I would suggest. I would suggest going through your felt a little bit at the back, like this, okay, and pulling it so you get that little loop, and then go through that little loop and make sure you're pulling it down. Okay, that's tied off and I can go ahead and snip it. Now I shouldn't do that unless I'm running out of string or if I am finished going all the way around. The next thing I would do on this specific thing is I would go ahead and cut out the little black pupil, put that on, and do the same exact stitching. If I finish putting on all my facial features, which this is going to take me a while because I was going to cut out the nose area, the nostrils, a different color for his horn, maybe put in some cute little different colorations where the ears are. It should take a little while. If you find yourself finishing facial features, there is a whole different stitch for connecting two pieces together. So things that are going to be stuffed. If I'm taking the shape of his head and putting the other shape of his head on, which I'm not going to do till the very end, but if I am stuffing a piece of my stuffie, I'm going to be doing something called a blanket stitch. If you get to a section where you're going to be stuffing legs or stuffing body parts, please come see me so I can show you the blanket stitch. If you don't do the blanket stitch, the stuffing will kind of slide out from within your character. So please see me if you get to that. For right now, we're going to go ahead and focus on stitching on facial features once you have them all cut out. Also, at the end of class, since you guys are the only class right now working on this project, I would stick your needle just into your felt like this so it doesn't jab you, and leave your needle and all your felt pieces and your string all inside your labeled bag and put it in the bin for your table so that when you come in next time, you are ready to go and have all your supplies already prepared.